Hello, parents and educators. My name is Josh Ochs, and I'm excited on the Smart Social podcast today. No matter where you're listening or watching, today we're going to talk about digital safety. Now, I'm being interviewed today on someone else's podcast, but as you may have seen in past episodes, it is always a good idea to take everything that you're doing to serve someone and what I call it, build it once and serve many times. And that's why we're recording this. And I'm honored today to be interviewed by Dr. Dale Wisely. And he is a clinical psychologist for 36 years. He's based in Alabama. And today I'm honored to get the chance. I've spoken at his school before. We've worked together before. We have very similar approaches to what you're about to hear. We're going to talk about some safety, some statistics. We're going to dive into the iPhone features, all kinds of really great stuff that's tactical and practical for you, the parent, the educator that's working with kids 8 to 18. I'm really honored to be here today. You can learn more at smartsocial.com or click the links below. We're going to talk about some of the features of that website that are free for you to use to protect your kids. Okay, without further ado, Dr. Wisely, I'm excited to be a part of this. It's all yours.
Thank you, Josh. This is Dr. Dale Wisely. I'm the Director of Family Life at Prince of Peace Catholic Parish here in Hoover, Alabama, a suburb just outside of Birmingham. And this is the Prince of Peace Family Life podcast. Our special guest is Josh Ochs. We had a chance to meet and work together a few years ago and have stayed in touch. Josh is a go-to person for me on social media, works and lives in the Los Angeles area. And Josh educates both parents and young people about the healthy use of social media, has a very positive approach, along with helping us all be aware of some of the problems associated with social media. I do lots of talks myself on social media, and I've always recommended Josh's excellent website, smartsocial.com. Now, I should say that Josh offers some services as a speaker and some paid services, but there's a ton of just extremely useful free content on his website. I go to it all the time and learn something every time I do. So always like to point people to it when I can. Welcome, Josh.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here.
Thanks. All right, let's talk for a minute about one of the things that I like about your website and use all the time, smartsocial.com. You keep a parent app guide there, and I've been looking at it for years. Tell us what you're trying to do with that app guide and what's your process for updating it and listing apps there.
Absolutely. So the parent app guide at smartsocial.com has just a couple things that we think help to divide the good apps from the bad apps for parents. So we call it the parent app guide. It's also known as the popular app guide. And essentially, there used to only be 3 buckets. We just added a 4th bucket. So Dale, we have what's called the green zone. And I want to be really careful about how we introduce this because we used to call it the safe apps, but we now, just to be really careful with parents, we say the green zone are the few apps that smartsocial.com considers to be a starting place for teens and tweens. That means that the upside can outweigh the downside, but just like a sharp knife in the kitchen, it can hurt you, even though it can be really useful. So we need to make sure that sharp knife is used in a way that can really help the students and teach them how to use that. So the green zone apps are ones that do have a downside, but also have an upside that can help you to prep for the future. And those can be reviewed for 100% free. You click on the Facebook link, and almost everybody that's listening to this or watching this, no matter where they're at in the world, they probably maybe have a Facebook account or have had one in the past, and they kind of understand that one. But there are some other ones that you may not know, like medium.com. And really, the green zone can positively impact your students' Google results. That's why they're in the green zone. It doesn't mean they're perfect or safe. It means they're a starting place when you're ready. Do your research. The gray zone are a place, and you click on this button right here on smartsocial.com. If you click on the popular app guide, those of you that are listening to this in the car or on the road or while you're working out, you go to smartsocial.com, you click on the popular app guide in the upper right, and the gray zone has a lot of messaging. These are some of the apps where Fortnite is in there too. There's a lot of interaction with other people. Fortnite really could almost be in the red zone because it's very addictive by nature, but let's leave it in the gray zone for just a hot sec. There's a lot of messaging, and the downside could be a little scary. And that's why you need to be on these apps, really every app, with your kids. Then we have what's called the red zone. And this is where there's a tremendous amount of anonymous behavior. Anonymous behavior we see as the downside drastically outweighs the upside, meaning that in the after school app, which is one of our first apps in the red zone, it is so much anonymous behavior. It's been kicked out. It's been removed twice from the App Store because of threats and arrests. Anytime an app has a lot of anonymous behavior and opportunities there, we almost automatically put it into the red zone because students, adults, and everyone in between will behave differently when it's not tied to their real identity, when they're not adding to that reputation that they're building in real life. So you'll see a lot of red zone apps here. Once again, does that mean they're terrible? No. But it means that, just heads up, this is a warning. You can go watch any of the videos by clicking on any of the items. There's one last thing. This is a long answer to your question, Dale, and I'm so sorry. But there's a new button we have called Dangerous Social Media Challenges. And these are like apps, but they're not. They're a challenge that can really override and work around a lot of the apps using hashtags and stuff. These are viral social media challenges that are popular with students on almost every network, usually network intense. The Blue Whale Challenge was a really scary suicide challenge. There's all kinds of challenges. They're just scary to mention. The Tide Pod Challenge, most people have heard of this one. It's where students consume a plastic laundry detergent. And these are little videos so you can better understand this. We do believe that parents should know about these ahead of time and then also talk to their kids about it. Because if you as a parent don't talk to your kids about it first, your kids' friends will talk to them about it. And then all of a sudden now they are more inclined to believe what their friends say instead of the parents' wisdom.
Josh, thank you very much. I just want to make sure I understand a couple of things. One is, would it be fair to say that if parents are looking for kind of a single indicator of a trouble app, it's anonymity?
Yeah, that's a start. Being anonymous is a start because there's so many good things to be on the web. And no, I'm not a naive, like, oh, the web's going to change the world. No, there are some good things. Now, let me tell you about can I dive into my 4 favorite things real quick?
Yeah, you bet.
The 4 ways that I see the internet. I'm going to dive into this. Well, I'm going to open a new tab. Everybody that's listening to this, we truly believe that there's 4 C's. These are my nerdy little 4 C's to this, and I have it in a speech somewhere. But the first 2 C's that can be really good for the internet is when we connect and communicate. If I meet somebody at an event and I say, hey, are you on Instagram? I'd love to keep up with you. Or are you on Facebook? We're connecting, and then we can communicate in the future using direct message or a feature of some sort. You can wish them happy birthday. Those are the good side of the web because those really help somebody to essentially make sure that they're using their real reputation to connect with other people and communicate. Sweet. That's awesome. The next 2 that we believe are really kind of bad are, once you pass the connecting and communicating, is when it starts to consume your day. And the third one is consume. And when you're sitting in line for somewhere and because we are all addicted, I'm going to be the first one to say that I have an inbox addiction. I'm checking my device too much. We'll feel the need to check that instead of looking around us and being appreciative of some sort. And that's when it just consumes our day and keeps us from doing productive stuff. And the last C, so we talked about connecting, communicating, consuming is where it tips to be bad. And once it's all consuming, when you're a teenager on Instagram, Facebook, or Snapchat, that's when we start comparing ourselves to others. And that's the 4th C, is comparing. Comparing is when I'm not as skinny as that person. I'm not going on vacations as well. My life isn't as fun as theirs. And that's when students lean into a little bit of depression, anxiety, and they get less friendly in life. They're not connecting, communicating as much. They're comparing. And that anonymous behavior as well really just puts us into the bad side of the 2 C's instead of the connecting and communicating on the good side of it. That's where I want your kids to live, is connecting, communicating, positive side of social, real identity, awesome. And as soon as we get in the other one, it's all consuming, anxiety, depression, and all kinds of other stuff.
It's really something too, that thing about how people can make comparisons to the lives they see online, as if everybody shares all the nasty things about their lives. I look all the time and I think, why is everybody else in Italy? Why am I sitting in an office in Birmingham? It can be really misleading if you don't think through the fact that people are posting the best things about their lives, not the mundane, everyday things.
Living their best fake life online, right? There's all these phrases, and really, you're employed.
Yeah, that's right.
What they're not showing you is, yeah, it really is amazing. And Dale, this is why we need to be so careful about having that discussion with students. And this will sound crazy, but I believe common sense has been thrown out the window in the last decade. People
Right.
say, "Oh, but it's common sense. You should have known that." Well, if parents aren't talking to their kids about it, showing that positive behavior through their lives because children are watching, then it won't be common sense if it's not modeled. It isn't common sense on how to make a burger if you aren't seeing somebody flip that burger and learn how to cook as you grow up. It's not common sense how to behave in the kitchen. So we need to show them, and you must talk to kids about that well before they see that at school. Otherwise, they won't know what wisdom is, and they'll see the other 13-year-olds that have close to zero wisdom, and they'll behave that way.
Well, as adults, we're pretty good at pointing our finger at kids and saying what's wrong with kids. And a lot of times these problems are just downward extension of what's going on with adults. Adults, as you know, adults have caught up with kids on texting while driving. So we've lost the edge of being able to say what's wrong with kids today. Sometimes we have to look in the mirror and think about what as you say, what we're modeling to kids.
So true.
So listen, I just want to quickly mention in the interest of time that another thing I appreciate about your website is whenever there's a new app that pops up or some new phenomenon in social media, you guys pretty quickly put together a 5, 6, 7-minute video. Sometimes I'm stunned at how quickly you can do it. And people can, if they don't know what, in 2018, if they don't know what Snapchat is, they can find out from one of your videos. Tell people how to find those real quickly.
First, I got to give full credit to the team of people. It's definitely not me. We've got, when I came from Disney Studios many years ago, we learned how to build content that helps families. So if you go to smartsocial.com, you'll see them right on the front page. You'll see our latest app guides. We have a blog in the upper right, but our blog is divided into a few different things. You've got app guides, which is really about a trend or something. And then but if you just click on the blog in the top, you'll be able to see the Rules of Survival, which is the latest game as of the time of this recording in November 2018. The Negative Effects of Video Games, which is a detailed parent guide that unfortunately will live long after. That's going to be an evergreen because video games are a huge addiction. We're hearing that from educators all over the world. And then Apple Screen Time, Complete Guide for Parents. We're going to talk a little bit about that in a few minutes. I think you have some questions about that. But
That's right.
That's how they really find it. smartsocial.com, click on the blog on the top. And my team is, shout out to Elisa from my team, who is really just diving in to be the eyes and ears for lots of people worldwide to say, how are predators using these games? What are the stats that we need to know? How can we take the common sense media stuff that we're going to talk about in a minute and put it into a blog that is easily digestible by parents? So it really does take a village to protect every child, and we want to be a part of every family's village that really helps to educate the parent and maybe even talk to the students through a targeted video series that makes the students realize what their parents saying is wise, and that we can be the bad person instead of their parents always seeming like they're the strict parent.
There you go. All right. Well, I'm going to stop trying to sound like an infomercial for your website, but people around here know me. I wouldn't be recommending if I didn't find it tremendously valuable. So thanks for what you guys do. Josh, let me ask you about, there's new data out from Common Sense Media, and many of us know that's a nonprofit organization, does research and other work on social media issues with youth. There's a lot of data there, but I was hoping maybe you could just give us 2 or 3 of the things that struck you as maybe good take-home points for parents.
Yeah, so in Common Sense Media's their report, and I think it's great what they're doing. Common Sense Media, for those of you that don't know, really is the 500-pound gorilla that's a nonprofit organization that kind of sets the standards for stuff. They're really, really great in what they do and stuff. They released a report that says that teens overwhelmingly choose Snapchat as their main social media site. 41% of teens use Snapchat, 22% of teens use Instagram, and 15% of teens use Facebook. What they don't say in here is that 93% of teens, I'm making that number up, use YouTube. So there's more apps in here. Yeah, they might be on Snapchat as a social media thing, but YouTube allows students to create content, to change their Google results, to interact with other creepy people that are commenting. YouTube really is the #1 social network that no one talks about because they think of it as something else. So know that. And also know that if you see these 3 big apps here and you're not on one of them, parents, if your kids are somewhere on the web and you're not there with them, now is a good time to jump on a Snapchat. I don't think Snapchat's going to be around forever. I hope somebody records this, and in 5 years, if it's the behemoth that Facebook is, that somebody laughs at me and with me. But we really do see it. They're having a little bit of a hard time because students are kind of jumping back over to Instagram, and Instagram has copied a lot of the Snapchat features and stuff. So what I want to encourage you to do is, if you're going to give your kid a phone this holiday season, if you're going to give your kid a device, one, consider being on the apps that your kids want to be on. And that means go jump on them on your own before your kids have them, or if your kids already have them, turn your kid into the expert and have your kids teach you that app. That's really important. Apps are like a park. You may say, oh, but it's fine to leave my kid or to take my kids to Central Park in New York. And it's a beautiful park. During the daytime, you're there with your kids. Yay, it's awesome. They'll run away and you'll see them. You'll know where they're at any one given time. Very comfortable. But would you allow your kids to be there alone at night when you're not there? Probably not. And that's really what these apps are, is when you're not there, very different people are interacting with your children. And if you're not there to have your child run to or understand that their parents can come to, it's a very, very different thing. So those are just from the, we can dive into more stats if you want to, but those are really the top line, is kids are using Snapchat, Instagram, and YouTube, but they don't talk about YouTube as much.
I appreciate the reminder about YouTube. I said to you earlier before we started recording that I wasn't surprised to see how much Snapchat and Instagram are used. I just don't think I realized how much they sort of dominate the app scene right now. Listen, Josh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Dale, I want to talk about something that is super, super important right now that I don't think not enough people are hitting on. And that thing that is this summer, I bought a remodel house. I'm remodeling, I'm having fun. And I started to notice this summer, and this is a story I tell a lot of students in class. This is a story that's even more important for parents to hear. I started to notice the positive Josh wasn't always coming out, and I just wasn't that vibrant person that I normally am. I'm wired to be positive. Not everybody's wired that way, but I noticed I just wasn't that happy-go-lucky guy. And I noticed I was on my screen way too much. So I did a little something this summer that I tell every student about, and I took a break from social media for 7 days. Now, I didn't delete all of my apps. I didn't remove them. I just deleted them from my iPhone. I deleted Facebook and Instagram from my iPhone. And I announced to people beforehand. People thought I was crazy. They thought maybe I had a mental illness, and people are calling me, and I went, no, things are great. I just want to remodel my house. I really like power drills. I want to focus. And I tell students, make an announcement. Tell everybody you're focusing on schoolwork, and people will call you and go, is everything okay? I'm like, actually, no, I think these are great. I just want to take a little break. Now, I took that 7-day break, and I met more in-person friends. I told everybody, text me, call me. I'm going to be taking photos. I'll have my phone. I took more photos. I texted people. I called people. I went out just as much, but I got more done in real life. And then when the 7th day came around, after I deleted, now whatever apps are your go-to. For me, it's not Snapchat. I don't love Snapchat, but it may be Snapchat for your students. For me, it was Facebook and Instagram because they suck the most time. And they rather than connecting and communicating, I was diving into the comparing and consuming, which are bad. And I want to remove that as much as I can. So long story short, 7 days came around and I was so happy. I went, I don't need to download them. And I went another 7 days before I downloaded them and did this. Now, I talked to my cousin. She's 17. She's going to be on our podcast this Friday. We're going to build a website for her. Her name is Olivia. Adorable, awesome person. I told her this story and she said, duh, Josh. And I said, what do you mean, duh? She goes, I've deleted 4 times, or 3 or 4 times, I've taken a digital detox, a social media low-tech vacation. She said, Josh, every time when I go focus on my schoolwork, I come back and I have a better understanding of how these apps can be good and bad. And I look at them differently. I look at them like they're the friend that could turn on me. You know, she didn't say that, but she knows what they're good for and what they're bad for. And we're going to talk about that this Friday, when we teach her or show her how to shine online and build an awesome website for her. But a detox is so important for your kids. For adults, one, a detox lets you just live a little bit. The world is perfect without you, and it'll be right there when you come back. You'll be like, whoa, and you might even see it better. So my moral of the story is consider detoxing a little bit, delete it for a day. I also tell students, if that sounds crazy, unfollow 100 people on Snapchat or Instagram or both. See what happens. People might get upset. One person might be angry, but consider just downsizing that. It will make you more focused. It'll make your true friends come out. Great things happen when we start looking at how much time these devices take from us, and then we can focus on schoolwork and real friends in person.
Good segue to the other question I had for you, Josh, which the latest update of the operating system for iPhones has some great new features about tracking screen time. I guess it's literally called screen time. Quick walkthrough on that. Not a walkthrough, but just at least a comment on what you see there.
Yeah, so I turned it on for me, and every parent out there, please consider turning on this screen time feature in iOS 12. And we actually have a video game app guide. If you go to once again, this is 100% free. And Dale, I know you're pushing us and stuff, but Dale does not get paid to do this. We need to create free resources that help you raise your child in a safe way. We need to educate you. We haven't seen very many other organizations that are building these. So my team has said, and I've said, I'm going to dedicate half of my income to paying staff to make sure that you're protected. I drive an old car. I could be a lot more well off than I am. But I said, I need to pay for my mortgage, and we're going to protect children all over the world. So we're doing that. Nobody's getting rich here, but we are going to great lengths because there's so many bad people out there. If you go to smartsocial.com, click on the blog, you will see our Apple Screen Time Complete Guide. I want to dive into one or two ideas for you really quickly. We've got a whole video about it. We've got a podcast about it. And Apple Screen Time is a new feature on iOS 12. Many of you have updated it. iOS 12 makes your older device run a little faster, a little cleaner. It's kind of cool. Screen Time is really, the industry was pressuring Apple to say, hey, you've created an addictive device and we don't like it. We're trying to get our kids off of it. And they said, okay, now we will be pressured into creating a feature so you can monitor what's going on. So you can see how much time your device has been used, the number of notifications received, how much time the device has, once again, been in use. We got to repeat there, the most used app, and how many times the device is picked up. There's parent mode and there's student mode. Parents, please just turn on your parent mode and just try it. You're going to get freaked out with how much time you're using on Gmail, email, Instagram. You're like, whoa. And once you've used it for the allotted amount of time, it will then gray out the app. So it goes, whoa, hey, you're running out of Instagram time, or you've used up your Instagram time. It's fascinating just to do a psychological test on yourself to become a better person. There's a lot more you can do in here, and you can it's free to turn on. You can turn it on for your student and monitor your student. There's a lot of details. You can even go to YouTube and learn how to do that. We have a whole app guide on it, but it's something every adult should turn on for just a little while to learn how they use their day and their device.
That's great stuff. Well, we just want to encourage parents to continue to learn as much as they can about social media and our kids. It's tempting, I know, for parents to kind of throw up their hands and conclude that they just can't keep up, and they're not going to be able to help keep their kids safe unless they try to learn as much as they can. There's a ton of resources out there for parents, and I appreciate your work, Josh, and thanks for being with us today.
Thank you so much.
This is Dr. Dale Wisely at Prince of Peace, the Family Life Podcast. Thanks for being with us.
And now that we've stopped the recording, everybody that's on our podcast, we're still going for just another moment. I want to tell everybody just really quickly, and have Dr. Wisely here as well, about something called Parent University. You've heard me talk about this. It really is I have a 3-step plan for your family. And the plan is, 1, I want to make sure that you know how to monitor your kids online and know who's posting under your kid's name, what your kids might be doing as a mistake on accident, we have a dream for you, and that is step one, monitor online. I'm going to teach you how to audit and do all that stuff on Parent University. You click the links below. Step two, the second month, the second week, go as fast or as slow as you want, is dialogue with your kids. Get them on a college campus. Inspire them about their future. If you took your kids to a college campus in elementary school, you would be doing them a service. You would be helping them go, whoa, look at this. And once you've audited their online footprint to show them who's posting, you take them to a college campus or something cool, or a company, or Uncle Pete who is doing this at a big company, and you get them inspired. Instead of just inspired by you, you get outward stuff so they want to take that step forward. Then step three in our program is to start to build that online resume, that online portfolio. We call it a student portfolio website. What do you want to be known for, kids? Do you want to be known for being able to tutor people, play music, sports? Olivia, my cousin, who's a senior in high school, she's very good with a professional camera, a DSLR, and we're going to build a website that shows her dream college. Here's how I go to people's weddings and take their dream day and put it on film so that they can keep it for the rest of their life. So whatever that is, our third step is how to build that website and social media thing to change your Google results, which happened in step one. In addition, we have, I think, an awesome anti-bullying program that has been developed by psychologists all over the world. And it is a series of videos that you watch with your kids and without your kids. How to deal with the aggressive student, how to make sure your student isn't the victim, and all kinds of different stuff you can do. It's all in Parent University. It's $100 to get started, and then you keep the videos for $10 a month. We have all kinds of options for that, and we think that it's going to be one of the best programs. It's going to protect your family. We'd love to be a part of your family. You can learn more at smartsocial.com. There's dozens more videos that we have all the time. And you also unlock Smart Social Week, an online parent conference that helps to protect your family with 70 of the very best that we've found online people that are contributing to keeping your kids safe and smart online. I'm Josh Ochs, and I've got Dr. Dale Wisely here, and I'm so honored to have everybody just really on board to make sure you know that your kids, yes, safety is important, but we also have to have a plan. This device needs to have a purpose instead of just a pastime. If you tell your kids not to touch that hot stove in the kitchen, what are they going to do? They're going to want to touch that. But if you say, hey, are you hungry? How about we cook spaghetti? I'm going to teach you how to use those sharp knives, that hot stove, and everything else. I've got a plan for you. Let's do this. And at the end, you're going to have a delicious meal. Now your kids have a purpose. They're doing cool stuff. And we believe in getting every kid into their dream school, their dream career using this device, and showing them how positive it can be and also what it can do badly as well. I'm Josh Ochs. I'm so thankful for everybody that is listening, no matter where you're at. Remember to keep it light, bright, and polite because your kids are watching. I'll see you guys soon. Have a great day.